Chapter 1.
"Hey, Case, you looking to buy another hairless goat?"
Doc Miller was bent and arthritic and as wizened as an old apple, but he was still the best castrator in 3 counties, and not many octogenarians can say that. "Tempting," Cassandra said, and gave him a cheeky half-grin that clashed irritably with her taut nerves and jumpy stomach. The conflicting aromas of horse manure and hot dogs were making her digestive juices curdle like old milk, though those scents had long been the mainstay of Hope Springs livestock auctions. "But I don't think any girl deserves more than one bald Nubian." Doc chuckled.
"Your daddy must have bust a gut when he brought that old buck home to the lazy,"
he said, and accepting a basket meal from Benny Hudson, a gaffer 10 years his senior, half-turned toward his seated cronies.
"Clay Carmichael was the hardest working SOB I ever seen, but he didn't like nothing that couldn't pull its own weight. His missus, though."
He shook his head and plucked a fry from the basket with knobby fingers.
"She was like our Casie here, had a soft spot for anything what breathed. That cat, she could dance all night, waitress all day, and still be up feeding lambs before dawn. Some folks thought Clay didn't—"
His words puttered to a halt. He shifted uncomfortably on the metal folding chair and twisted back toward Casie as if he'd forgotten her presence.
"Sorry, Case, I didn't mean to stir up hard memories."
"No." She tried a full-fledged smile this time. It felt funny on her face, out of place and strangely gritty below the frayed visor of the Marlboro cap she'd found in the back of Clayton's closet. "No problem. Don't worry about it."
"So, you're doing okay?"
It felt as if the whole world were looking at her now, waiting for her to make a decision, to do something. She wanted rather desperately to pull the cap lower, to let it swallow her whole. Instead, she cranked her smile into a taut grimace. "Sure, I'm fine." Casie May Carmichael was always fine. Despite familial deaths and absentee fiancés, despite trampled dreams, exhausting hours, and the looming ferocity of unmade decisions. "Listen," she said, and backed away a little, cheek muscles beginning to twitch. "I better get in there. They're just about done selling horses. Nice to see you, Doc."
"You too,"
he said, eyes intense below a forehead wrinkled like a basset hound's.
"You take care of yourself, you hear?"
"Will do," she said, and barely avoiding a ponytailed 3-year-old dragging a show bridle, escaped into the auction room. The irony of her chosen sanctuary didn't elude her. She'd been avoiding the place for months. Just being near the inner sanctum tended to bring home unnecessary memories, and goats with alopecia.
$300, $300, $300.
Skip Jansen's sing-song litany echoed from the overhead deck behind the sales ring. Inside, opposite the wooden bleachers worn smooth by 1,000 overalled onlookers, the ugliest horse on the planet was being dragged about by a boy in a threadbare baseball cap. The mare was gray and bony, with a head like a 10-gallon jug and feet large enough to support a pachyderm. She had calcified splints below both knees and wind puffs above urine-yellow fetlocks. 2 yards from where she trudged through the sawdust, a pudgy little ringman stormed the enclosure like a rotund crusader searching for infidels, or bidders. Both seemed in short supply, prompting a lower gambit from the auctioneer.
200 then, do I hear 200, 200, 200, 200?
Skip's voice echoed in the dank chill, but except for a few snickering comments among friends, his audience remained mute. Nevertheless, he rattled on like an overwrought jackhammer until finally yammering to a halt.
"Come on, folks,"
he wheedled, slowing the pace and ribbing the crowd with manipulative camaraderie.
"Quit sitting on your hands or doing whatever else you're doing with 'em, and make us a bid. Gilbert's boy here needs a new pair of Lucky Brands."
The crowd chuckled. Skip grinned, folksy as a shock of corn as he leaned toward the ring from his overhead perch.
"This your horse, son?"
The kid bumped a nod.
"What can you tell us about her?"
It was a ploy as old as chewing tobacco. Get the owner to warm the buyer's nostalgia.